What is up, Knights? Welcome back to Thought Factory. If you haven't joined us before, and this is new, I do what we call Thought Factory. We watch an Inside Star Citizen video. This one's about 11 minutes, 50 seconds long on this Star Citizen. Weapons of choice. Inside Star Citizen. Anyways, and I give my thoughts on it, or I give my opinions, or whatever. Um, Anything I say doesn't represent, CIG or anything like that, Cloud Imperium. Um, so it's just my thoughts and my opinions. So let's get to it.
So it might seem a little bit weird that we refer to these items as weapons. FPS weapons aren't always used to kill people. We just call them that internally as they go through the same pipeline, but there are so many other things that you can do with them. Say you might want to take down a target without actually killing them and restraining them instead and taking them in.
Goes towards bounty
You
hunting.
might want some form of gadget that picks things up, or you might want another that disables electricals, or you might want another that cuts, another that salvages, another that repairs. So there are many, many things that you can do with FPS weapons.
I'm ready.
So
I'm ready for these
I personally
weapons.
wanted to work on these non-lethal FPS weapons and tools for a long time. I've personally written a lot of the design documentation that goes alongside them for like a long time ago, so I've been dying for these things to come out, and I've seen a couple of them going through the concept phases, and I'm sat there itching, waiting for it to come in, and
This right here is pretty cool. I think medical gameplay is going to have a lot to do with it. It's going to be real in depth. So my thoughts and what I get out of medical gameplay is, you're not going to be able to just heal up. Okay, like when you're playing other games or other first-person shooters, you take cover, you start healing. Star Citizen's going to be different. You're actually going to have like people who know what they're doing when they're doing like medical gameplay. So this right here, I guess, the person that has these, medical guns, they'll be able to kind of like shoot you with them, I guess, and it'll inject, something along the lines of adrenaline or some kind of serum, something that keeps your body going until you can get to an actual like place to where you can be treated for your injuries. So yeah, this isn't going to heal you. I don't think. I mean, it might heal minor wounds, but this little gun right here is not going to be something that, you have a broken leg and boom, you get hit with this and you no longer have a broken leg anymore. That's not what this is for. I don't think. I think this is going to be more for just kind of getting you through the fight until you can get to an actual place where they can treat your injuries.
looking at the roadmap myself, but ultimately there's not much point in us putting these things out without the underlying systems being there. Now, all that said, teams have now started work on systems like medical, charge and drain, breaching, salvage. So now is a perfect...
Let me go back to this. This is pretty cool. This is like a breaching charge. So I guess when you like, if you're a pirate and you're wanting to go and you want to, first you're going to have to disable that your enemy ship. And then once you disable it, then you're going to have to ship dock to it. Okay, and that's when breach and charges will probably come in. So maybe you'll put this on the door. It'll breach the door. It'll allow the door to open. Maybe there will have to be like a spot that you have to place it in. Maybe you don't just place it on the door and bam, it magically opens up the door. And obviously, it could be used in like FPS missions, such as you go down to a bunker on the ground, and you can use it then. But I'm assuming that's what this is. Maybe like the bigger capital ships. So like, if you somehow disable a capital ship and then try to breach through one of the doors, they might be reinforced or something. So maybe you have to use multiple of these, or maybe you have to know exactly where to put it. But I think breaching charges are really cool.
Salvage. So now is a perfect time to start developing these weapons and tools to go alongside the systems. A change to the player health system is that over time, you may start to suffer long-lasting injuries if you've been seriously injured multiple times. And what the multi-tool healing tool allows you to do is not only heal someone just by firing at them over a short distance and applying healing gel, you will also get a UI readout that does notify you of any long-lasting injuries that might not be obvious.
Maybe it will heal, but I was under the impression that it was only maybe get you through. I didn't think it was actually going to heal like any. Maybe maybe minor injuries it can heal, but I don't think it would heal like more serious injuries.
Your target is sustained, and you can advise them or use multiple healing or drug pens to top them back up again.
It's a modular piece, so how do you look at it and instantly recognize it as, okay, this is a medical attachment? So obviously you've got the essentially what looks like a sort of syringe, and then also you've got there's a canister on this that swaps out, and that also holds the sort of healing serum. So those are the two things that swap out on this.
So the multi-tool salvage attachment also has two functions. It has salvage and repair. Salvaging allows you to do what we call hull stripping, which is where you can walk up to a ship or vehicle and you can start stripping away the hull that then gets stored in a canister. And that could either be...
I'm so ready for salvage.
...kept for repair. And what repair is essentially the reverse. If you look at your ship that's been damaged, you can apply what is in the canister, the material that you've gathered in the canister, to any damage that's been done to your ship or vehicle to repair it.
And the obvious visual thing with this is Nick delivered it in yellow originally, but we've pushed him to more the silver.
Now these are repair tools. I wonder if they're going to come with like something that obviously they're going to have a battery life. I would think some kind of energy life that you're going to have to keep these tools charged up or something like that. And I would think with like a repair gun, I would think that you would need some kind of material that, like, if there's a gash in the opening, outside of a ship or something, there would be a material that you would have to use to fill that opening up, that little gash in the ship. Obviously, I don't think you'll be able to repair huge tears in your ship or anything like that. But minor little things like that, I think you would be able to repair. But I think it'd be cool to have like a, not only would you have to keep it charged, but there would have to be like material, like repair material that you'd have to keep in it. I think that'd be cool.
Silvery blue. If you find one or you're in a shop, you're like, okay, that's what I need. Pick. There's no confusion.
So we are also working on the dedicated medical gun, and it essentially gives you all of the information that the multi-tool version provides. Does give you additional functionality like being able to...
Now I don't know, I guess these are all concepts. Maybe these were all the concepts they kind of went through. But to be honest, I think that you should have older models and you should have newer models. I think players should be able to choose between those. And I think maybe obviously the newer models would do better than the older models. Like they would be more sufficient or more efficient, I should say, than the older ones. But the older ones would be cheaper. Like, it'd be just a newer model, older model. I think it'd be cool if they made like, let's say I went in and I was like, well, I couldn't afford this one because this is a newer model, but I'll just go with an older model. I think that'd be awesome. I don't think they're going to do that. I think all the medical guns are going to pretty much look the same, which to me, in my opinion, I don't think it breaks the immersion, because I think they should have different manufacturers of different medical guns and the same, different designs and even older models.
Apply specific drugs if you want to. Now that you've got the readout that lets you know what's wrong with someone, you'll be able to look at what you've got in there. You can kind of move the sliders around and apply them at different levels and different amounts of drugs and medicine to mask those issues, which is really going to contribute towards pushing that medical role in the PU.
It was the first one that we've done like this. overall, like, I mean, I actually really like how this instrument turned out. It reads well.
Am I the only one? I'm sorry, I gotta go back. Am I the only one when they like show their faces? I'm looking at the background, seeing what's what's back there. What what is this? What? That's kind of creepy, man. Um, maybe that's his son. I guess. I guess that's maybe his son and his daughter. Now I feel like a butthole, but but I mean it's just kind of creepy at first, I guess, because his camera is all kind of pixelated and not showing all the right stuff back there. But you know that's just I'm just the type of person that I kind of like looking in the back, seeing what he's got back there. Or is that like vape stuff? I don't know what that is. Anyways, I'm being nosy.
really like how this instrument turned out. It reads well. It feels high tech. We've got some really good color options as well. So yeah, pretty cool. So the Grey Cat tractor beam. This was a real fun one.
It's much bigger than the multi-tool. It only does one thing.
So we had a lot of iterations, but where we ended up was really cool, and it was also gave us a really good chance of advancing the style of Grey Cat. So it's sort of
That's cool.
updated chassis.
That really is cool. I mean,
it's really pushing on
they like
those
moving
tool
parts,
vibes.
you know. It's,
And it also, you know, it also fits nicely onto the back of the player.
So it's graded for lifting much heavier objects. It's got a much bigger battery, so you'll be able to use it for longer.
and that makes sense. I think, you know, I think obviously your small handheld tractor beam shouldn't lift something huge. You know, I mean, in all honesty, I don't even think it should lift something the size of your body. You know, I think they should have a weight limit on them, and I think that the size of the, you know, thing should, you know, also matter as well. And hopefully this right here, the bigger tractor beam guns, hopefully that's showing that, you know, there are going to be, um, you know, different weight classes that they can lift. I saw one where the little Gray Cat tractor beam handheld was lifting a guy on a box. Like the guy was on the box, it lifted it. I'm hoping they fix that because I think that's stupid in my opinion.
Exploring other options like it being able to push pull faster and being able to grapple from a further distance away and grapple you faster as well. So another thing we've been developing is the standalone cutting tool, which is the bigger, badder, better version
And I'm ready for
of the multi-tool cutter.
Right away, you can see that family DNA that's shared between the two. So this one kind of feels a slightly older generation.
It'll be able to cut through materials quicker, it'll be able to cut through denser material, and it will be able to essentially do it all faster with a bigger battery capacity so you can keep going.
And I hope that you could use these cutting tools, you know, instead of just the breach charge. I'm hoping you can take these cutting tools so when, you know, pirates, you know, ship to ship dock with their prey, you know, hopefully they can take these cutting tools and cut through. And I don't think it should be instant. I really don't. I think it should take time to cut through the big old doors, depending on the thickness of the door. You know, and then on the other side, you know, you would have the security forces. Excuse me. You'd have the security forces sitting there, and they would see these sparks coming off the door, you know, and they're just sitting there waiting on the door to open or drop or whatever. I think that would be really cool gameplay.
It's a mix of precision tech, you know, because a lot of the stuff that these tools do is quite technical.
So when you're cutting out those big shapes on panels and everything, it'll be the tool that you want to use instead of the mini multi-tool itself. So the breaching charge is one of the first examples we've got of an FPS deployable.
So with this one, it, you know, remains quite small, but benefit is you can stick it onto a surface.
Now I can see, I can see trolls or people, maybe friends, just playing with each other and taking these breaching charges and putting them on their friends' backs or something. I think that'd be funny. I obviously think it should immediately kill somebody. or at least wound them pretty bad, depending on where it is. But breaching charges, I don't think it should just be a stick thing. You should have to do a little more that way. People aren't just going around and immediately sticking it on the back of people. But maybe if someone's AFK or something, you go behind them and you attach a breach charge to them. I think that'd be kind of funny.
So you'll be able to take this out, put it down, it'll deploy on the surface, and the breaching charge is purely meant to bust through doors.
And it's pulling on some of the bearing styling that we did for things like the grenade and some of the more recent weapons, maybe like the LMG. So we're getting more of that polymer. Yeah, it's just always sort of maintaining that balance of.
And again,
polymer.
I think the breaching charges should be. You should have to know, so if you're attacking an origin ship, you should know, okay, on origin ships, on this structure of the door, the breaching mechanism or the door mechanism is over on the right side. So I got to put the breaching charge over here. Obviously, if you put your breaching charge on the left side, of the origin ship, it wouldn't do nothing, or let's say we're attacking an Aegis, and we put the breaching charge, the locking mechanisms on the left or whatever. I think you should have to, have knowledge of what ship you're attacking too. I don't think you should just be able to stick it on any door and then it just breach right through it. That's just my opinion.
Versus metal versus how many bolts. Again, keep that family DNA.
So something that doesn't necessarily link in, but I am very excited to talk about, is the Ultraflex crossbow.
The Ultraflex crossbow probably is one of my favorite weapons in a long time, actually.
It's very different to any weapon that we've ever done before.
And also, it's essentially a new company.
It's going to be.
I was about to ask, do they shoot bolts? What are they shoot? That's what I figured that it would shoot, as a crossbow bolt. But this is a future, so I wasn't sure. To be honest, I wouldn't see this. I mean, I guess it could go through armor, maybe you'd have certain armor that's like piercing resistance, or maybe you would have certain armor that's, more resistant towards heat, which would be lasers or plasma. I'm kind of confused on the crossbow, to be honest. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, down in the comments below on the crossbow.
Weapon available. So while the radar and scanning systems pick up on IR, EM, and audio as well, this thing will essentially fly under the radar and all of those. So it's a weapon that you will be using if you want to stay.
So this is like something you can smuggle.
Stay stealthy.
Yeah, something you could smuggle, I guess. Cool. You're gonna have to have a big area to smuggle it in.
I really love it, and the fact that Nick has been able to figure out how to get all the functionality that's required by design. The key beads, the reloading, it's a cartridge. The arrow has to expand once it's loaded. It has to compress to a certain size in terms of the overall length of the weapon. It's got to look badass.
It looks cool.
I would say, call me crazy. I think we've nailed it on this. I think the art team did a really awesome job of building it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So those are just a few of the FPS weapons and tools that we've been working on. We are so excited to be working on them now and developing these systems. So I'm sure you'll hear more about how these systems work in the future, and we can't wait to get them in your hands and have you playing with them.
As Star Citizen's development pushes into exciting new gameplay aspects like medical, breaching, salvage, shooting people with crossbows, it's exciting to see the weapons content team get to stretch their proverbial legs like this. But up next, Asteroids. Friendly space potato or a rocky, dangerous adversary? The Planet content team has created a new pipeline for better looking and more varied asteroids, and they're coming your way in the upcoming Alpha 313.
Rocks are boring, but you still need them for the big picture.
That looks like a superhero.
The big picture will suffer from it. I do have a knack for finding solutions to problems, not necessarily only the ones that are very difficult to find, but also for things that are just like inconvenient. The main reason why we needed new asteroids was that the old ones were using and relying on old tech. Based on that, we wanted to update the process and the assets. As the Star Citizen universe keeps on expanding, there is a need for more variety for asteroids,
Yeah.
and that's why we built that new pipeline to allow us to iterate and create more variation much more quickly than before. And with
I think asteroids are cool. I think that you should even be able to like maybe build like asteroid bases. I think that'd be awesome. Like if especially maybe if you're pirate oriented or something, and you want to put your build a base into the side of an asteroid. I think that'd be cool. I also think it'd be hilarious if you had a base in an asteroid and a big old mining thing comes along and tries to mine your asteroid or something. I think that'd be funny. But hopefully your sensors pick that up before that happens. But yeah, let's see what they got to say more about it.
better quality as well.
I mean,
For the new
Grimhex
asteroid
is an
workflow,
asteroid.
we've moved it all into Houdini. So we generate the high poly version of the asteroid in Houdini, which then gets broken down into a lower resolution version, which
That's
gets
cool.
as unwrap. So you can actually map a texture to it. Then we generate the masks in Houdini as well for our shader in the engine. Then we bake all the information from the high poly onto the low poly, export it out to the engine, and then we set it up there with the
I've
shader in
always
the engine,
wondered
with the tiling
how
texture onto the low.
this right here, the Dragonfly. I always wondered how it goes through space because I don't ever see any thrusters on it, like side thrusters or stuff. How is it? How is this not just making it go straight forward? I'm sorry, that's just what I noticed. You would think this thing would have side thrusters to kind of like push it in directions, but maybe it uses some kind of technology we don't know about now.
Low poly, export it out to the engine, and then we set it up there with the shader in the engine, with the tiling textures and the colors and all that stuff. With the new process, the final resulting asteroids are more consistent within a set of asteroids. So you get like a
That's
more
cool.
consistent texel density and detail. It also uses the new organic shader, which has displacement tessellation compared to POM, and just the overall quality of the visuals will be improved.
I'm ready for them to bring comets
We are
as
building
well.
a space game after all, so I think asteroids are a vital part of that.
Well, of course.
Getting that experience that you always had when you watched those Star Wars movies as a kid, where they were hiding behind an asteroid and then someone came by and then you could ambush them and then play hide and seek around the asteroids. And with the new asteroids, there are a lot more nooks and crannies, if you will, where the player can hide.
I think they should have
Those are
asteroids
the
with
asteroids that come into the
cave
range points in
systems.
313, and they might seem like a small thing, but this is Star Citizen, and the details matter.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that new non-lethal FPS weapons with med beams, tractor beams, cutting beams, and salvage beams are the harbingers of new gameplay opportunities in Star Citizen's future. That the Ultraflex crossbow is Star Citizen's new silent killer. Take that, elevators. That I don't care what it's supposed to be used for, I'm going to use that cutting beam in one-on-one combat because it just looks too darn cool. And that asteroids may seem like a small, tiny thing, but it's the sum total of those small, tiny things that make up for a truly immersive experience that we're all working towards. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
Nice inside Star Citizen. Inside. Jeez. Nice inside Star Citizen there, Jared. So I appreciate you guys joining me. If y'all have any questions or if y'all want to debate with me in the comments about any of the things I've said, just comment below. Also, like, share, subscribe, and hopefully I can get some more content out for you guys. All right, Knights, y'all have a good one, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.